What are we going to talk about today? I'm not going to cut this. No cuts. Just one 20-minute battery life. Here we go. What are we going to talk about today? Like the last video, I'm going to put some nice footage that I got yesterday or last night down by the water and of some mountains. So let that just soak into your brain and get you feeling relaxed. How am I feeling today? I'm feeling kind of anxious, definitely. I'm more energized, but definitely on the kind of antsy side of things. Apparently, I can eat crepes, gluten-free crepes that have cheese in them, and feel more energized than if I eat black beans and avocados and foods that I didn't, or foods that I am preparing. I don't even want to talk about that. I don't even care about that. But me and my friend, I'm not gonna name her because I don't know what she wants for privacy. But we were just talking about today a little bit of religion, sort of stuff, and disclaimers. My brain may not be able to articulate exactly what I mean, and whenever you're talking to anybody, just know that we may or may not be saying what we're wanting to say. For me, I know that I can get in a pretty foggy, anxious area in my brain, or my brain can get inflamed, and so I can't necessarily articulate what I truly know I understand or think I understand, or what I want to be able to communicate. And so just whenever we're exchanging ideas about this topic, just know that take everything with a grain of salt, and what I'm saying may be true or in alignment with what I actually believe, or I may be having a hard time communicating what I truly think I know or what I'm trying to communicate. So that being said, let's see if I can communicate what I don't even know what I want to communicate in this video, but I guess I just want to have a conversation with myself, with you watching me, just discussing the things that I've experienced and my observations and things that I've learned or think that I've learned about religion and spirituality. And I can feel it right now when there's like an anxiety within me that I can feel when and it's not even just about this subject, but whenever I talk about anything that could be potentially controversial, I can feel like a physical sensation of tension and kind of not shame, but I can feel my brain trying to make sure that what I'm doing is okay. Like there's this safeguard, this safety net, or this protector that's trying to make sure I don't say anything stupid or say anything that I don't mean. And because my brain can get foggy, and right now it's not the clearest, and so I may say things in ways that don't communicate what I truly mean. And yeah, but basically I was raised Christian. My parents, and this is the thing, I'm trying to figure out how to frame this, and so I don't want to be controversial, but at the same time I feel like it's an important topic, and I'm not trying to say anything bad about anything or anyone. And yeah, so just I'm over analyzing everything right now and I'm not just saying what I mean. So let me try to just say what I mean. But basically, I was raised Christian, and my parents were non-denominational, and I didn't go to Catholic church, but I was raised in a very Christian home and going to church a lot. And I went on a lot of mission trips and was just around a lot of Christian things. My whole life was kind of based around that. And for me, being a very sensitive person who takes things or processes things very deeply, I took all of that, all of the teachings and all of the Christianity religious subject matter and took it very seriously, and it was the framework in which I saw the world. My belief systems were based on that. And so, looking back at it now, I can see different patterns, but basically, it was very black and white, heaven or hell, doing good versus doing bad. And if someone was who I knew was Christian, or said they're a Christian, or went to church or whatever, was doing anything that was like not very nice, or not very, not even not very nice, just not this perfect cookie cutter cutout of what a Christian should be, I was confused because I thought that everybody should act a certain way. And so I felt this strong need to abide by the rules of Christianity and the rules that were taught to me from the Bible. Um, and it was very ingrained in my psychology, and something that I see now, in that was in me, but also I can see it in a lot of other people, and not everybody, and everybody has different experiences, but I can just, I felt a lot of shame and guilt about things that I didn't need to feel shame and guilt about growing up in a Christian based viewpoint of the world. And now there's just a lot of things that we don't need to feel guilty about, that we are made to feel guilty about, and things that are considered sins. But then it's like, what's a sin? Why? Who, like, who invented that? And Christians will say that God made all these rules, but how do you know? Like, how how do you know that God said this? Because you're just a human, and you're just interpreting the world from your eyeballs and your brain, and everything you say is, everything you and I say is from our perspective. And to say that God said something, well, first off, how do you know that? How do you, like, how is there God, or are you just creating this deity in order to help you process your life and give you comfort and find a secure base and framework to live your life, which is fine. But it also creates this potentially false sense of good and bad, especially when it's coming from teachings that are in a religious book that came from many years ago, that were in a certain circumstance that doesn't even apply to today. And there's so many people that think like this now, and I'm not the only one for sure. But I know that it can be very challenging to question everything, but it's important to question everything, because when you start to question everything, then you start to get answers to everything, or at least you start to get more clarity. And it can be super uncomfortable to question everything. And when I started to question everything back in about 2014, I first went vegan, and that's when I started to question everything, because I just, there's so many things that go into the food industry that we don't even think about, and that we just mindlessly consume. And religion can be the same way. And I started to just research and do more thinking, and like, there's all these contradictions that exist that can't necessarily, I mean, they can be ignored, but it's, I feel like, and this is where my brain is like not in the clearest state. So I know that if I was in a clearer state, I'd be able to just say what I'm thinking so clearly. But now, because I'm kind of inflamed and my brain is foggy, I'm like wrapping around slowly. But and now I lost where I was going. I don't know where I'm going. Nobody knows where we're going. That's the point. Like, what how do you know what you think you know? And what the things that you think you know are based on your experience and your interpretation based on your framework that you're seeing the world. But other people have different frameworks, and someone could interpret the same situation in a different way. For example, someone could take a drug and have an experience that could either be terrifying based on their belief system, or it could be enlightening based on their belief system. And it depends on how you think of what humans are and what we are, because everything, your reactions to things depend on where you are to begin with and what state and perceptions you have and your beliefs and thoughts about how things work and how things should be. But if you don't have certain frameworks, then you will interpret things differently and potentially either relieve suffering or increase suffering. And I don't know, I just feel like a lot of, at the root of all religions is this need for humans to process their lives and make sense of things and feel comforted in the fact that we don't know what the heck is going on, and we experience these fluctuations in emotions, and we don't know. And so it feels good to know, or say that we know, or think that we know, because there is truth to the saying, or to the concept of needing to believe or feel something to believe, or you won't experience something unless you believe it, because we can create our experience, and the things that are happening in our brain can make what seems out there, or wait, what's happening in here, what we, blah, what's happening in here gets reflected out there. And so we can influence or be strongly, how much, I can't even explain, my brain is foggy right now. Basically, it's like the placebo effect, where we can believe something and it feels true because we are so invested in it and we are making it happen. But that doesn't necessarily mean that the thing that we are believing is true just because it's having an effect on us. I could believe that that phone just dropped behind me because a guardian spirit is watching over me and she actually wanted me to look at the message. That's just my interpretation. Doesn't mean that it's necessarily true, but it might help me to believe that it's true because maybe it embraces or creates this sense of wonder in me, and then I start to see the spirit in things. But then again, what is the spirit? Like, what is spirit? Like, what is spiritual? And I guess I don't know anything. I am just open to whatever. But the slippery, unsturdy place that I stand right now, which is prone to falling around and shifting, and tomorrow who knows what I'll think, but I'm losing it again. I'm losing my train of thought. Jiminy Crickets Christmas trees. On Valentine's Day, Christmas presents. What? What was I saying? I forget. I'm rattled now because one of my housemates just got home, and I was rattled. I'm talking quieter because I don't want to be heard, because I'm anxious and foggy. Help me. Oh, what was I